Alright, we're back. Just a little error here. This 5-6 is the A string shape, and the root 2 is the E string shape. That threw me for a second. I'll fix that in the charts. My bad. I don't want to fix it in the image viewer, you know, the one that we use for the program, and we have to move along because I have to get going. So bottom line is we're just going to be looking at this block right here, okay, and this is the modal. This is the part of the 12 string, the 12 key modal string shape build. It's a double string shape build. You notice there's double string shapes, 4, 5, 6, but only to 5, 6, 7. Root 2, 3, okay, is only going to go to 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7 is only going to go to 6, 7 root G. So it's called 5A G. 2, 3, 4 is just going to go to 3, 4, 5. We don't include a partial string shape because we're focusing on what two string shapes are there. A string shape label has to be surrounded by notes to be a string shape label. So it's D, and 3, 4, 5 is C right there, surrounded by notes. Okay. 6, 7 root only goes to 7 root 2. 3, 4, 5 only goes to 4, 5, 6 now, because these are modal, and modal is long. You can choose any scale member. You could go with the fourth and build on the fourth. 4, 5, 6. Right there. The modal string shape in guitar is 4, 5, 6. The modal string shape is double the guitar modal string shape in cello and fiddle is 4, 5, 6, 7. We always add one note. And by the way, these go backwards. If you didn't look at these guys, if you didn't look at the one note that we're adding here, okay, so if you weren't looking at the 4, you weren't looking at these guys down here, and we weren't looking at the 7, just say we weren't looking at them. We're only looking at the strings built the way they are. So it would be 5 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say we're not even looking at this either. Okay, so say we're doing a Lydian build here. Does 4 go to root? No, root goes to 4 on guitar, but it's backwards in P5. That's what I was simply explaining there. So it's backwards in P5, the way the pattern stacks up, but you have to add the extra notes there. Just the first part, the one string shape, is backwards. So in guitar, as you know, I'll pick up the guitar and I'll just show you. Starting on root 2, 3, it'd go root 2, 3, would go up to 4, 5, 6. Okay, or if we start on 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 goes up to 5, 6, 7. Okay, but in cello and fiddle, 2, 3, 4 would go up to 6, 7 root with a 5 in between. So it'd be just like that. So the cello and the fiddle string shapes are double string shapes in that they interlock modally. The modal long string shapes, they only share what they share. Okay, now look at 4, 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7. They're sharing the 5, 6. Big buddies. Big buddies. Whole note, whole step buddies. Alright, that's still close together compared to the size of that string shape. So here's our string shape build, and this maps, this string shape build from 4 to 7 maps directly on this particular fretboard that I've drawn up top here. Okay, and by the way, I had a little help with a computer to draw this one, so I got the lines straight and everything. I usually use my my regular ones. I'm sure you guys are sick of looking at these, but this is all we got. I used Excel to do this, and I used like a computer to do this, to make the you know, the basics here, and then selected certain notes, but I labeled them. and you know, selected the notes that I need and label those notes. It's very important to label them and what the fretboards are. So this is the everything fretboard. This particular fretboard, now this is modal, just modal, so it's Lydian, Ionian. I had to put Lydian there because I started with Ionian there. Remember, this is the guitar fiddle. So the high E strings move to the B string slot, the B strings move to the G string slot, the G strings out. Okay, the D string's unchanged, the A string's down tuned to a G, the E string's down tuned to a C. Okay, and that B string that we move to the G string slot is down tuned to an A, and the E string is the same, but it's moved to the B string slot. That's it. Cello fiddle on guitar. No excess stretching of notes, of strings, no stretching of strings past their normal tonality. Okay, only down tuning, only moving strings down to, but just beware of, you know, if you break a string, you know, I'm sorry, you've done something that is overstressed it, and you have to look at your guitar situation. Like I say, in this case, I had a raised nut on the B string. I don't know. It looked like a tooth, like one of my teeth sticking out. It was just raised up, and I don't know why they wanted the B string that high on this particular bridge. So I had to shave that down. I shaved it down too far, and it was just flat on the neck. And then I had to put a little piece of wood there, a little, and raised it up to where I want it, so it plays. Now that's an E string, but that's E minor in a C string guitar. Now let's talk about some chords. So again, this guy over here, see, I do this. I talk about the chords, but we have to do this first. This is all we're looking at. I forgot to show you guys this. I forgot to show you guys. So 7 goes to this one. 3 goes to this one, Phrygian. 6 goes to this box. But they really go to the bottom string. So see that 2? 2 goes to that one. 5 goes to that one. See, because that's the bottom string shape of that build. Root goes to this one over here. And 4 goes to that one. That's the name of that tune. Now that we know that this fretboard and the way that I cut these frets up, and by the way, this right here, these are accidentals. This is like black notes on your piano. Okay, there's no sense in putting string shape labels there because they're not appropriate to the cage that we're looking at. So these are modal cages, cello, fiddle, violin. All right, so let's look at, so for each cage, this is the Lydian cage, but let's look at Ionian right here. So here's our root on each one. Here's the root, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. This is the Ionian cage. Down here is a little fret nut here. We would start here. Now, if we went over here and started on the Lydian cage here, the low C, the LPN, would be the 4th. What's the formula for that? We have a little bit of that somewhere. Whoa, I don't mean to scare you, but so we have the LPN and we have the key. Okay, so if you see, we've got keys here. We've got the key is here rather, and the LPN is here. What is the lowest playable note? The lowest playable note is the lower left hand note on the bottom string shapes of any of this. Okay, and so if we're looking at a 4 on LPN is 4, the key is going to be the 5th of what that actual pitch is, and if it's the C, a cello low C, then that would be C, and it would be the 5th of C. So you know what I'm saying? That